Beloved children, I bring you the story of Father Rodolfo Komorek, a Polish missionary who after World War I served the humble in Brazil. His charity echoed beyond death with bilocation and walking in the rain without getting wet. Declared venerable by the Vatican, he reveals in a message, "My deeds were mediumship for Christ, not miracles. Holiness belongs only to Jesus." Psychographed letter from Father Rodolfo Komorek.
May the great light of the Most High extend to all of you, granting peace and good to the pure hearts, and may the mercy of God reach those who seek salvation. I am Rodolfo Komorek. During my incarnation in this world, I played the role of a priest in a mission full of challenges. Upon returning to this plane after my earthly period, I carried the awareness of spreading divine love to all who crossed my path. From a young age, with only 7 years of incarnation, I already understood the nature of my mission, although limited by the experience of youth. This early awareness allowed me to prepare, even if in a childish way, for my future role. As I grew up, I persisted in my priestly devotion within the Holy Catholic Church, always extending help to those in need. The sacred scriptures proclaim that even faith the size of a mustard seed has the power to move mountains. Throughout my life, countless miracles have been attributed to me. However, it is essential to understand that I was merely an instrument of the will of Jesus Christ, the only one capable of effecting true healing. I assumed the role of a medium, as many of you have. To this day, stories tell of my ability to be present in 2 places simultaneously, which is known as bilocation mediumship. Some souls have this ability, while others do not. The truth is that I could be observed in 2 different locations at the same time. However, in the dimension in which I manifested, my form could not be touched. Many times I walked through the rain without getting wet, which was mistakenly attributed to miracles, when in fact it was a small energy field. By viewing these events as miraculous, you inadvertently place yourself in a place of limitation, denying your own abilities. The reality is that certain forms of mediumship allow for the manifestation of these abilities. Some can develop them, while others have a more subtle mediumship. Regardless, everyone has the potential to cultivate and control these abilities. Jesus, during his time on earth, proclaimed that everyone could perform feats similar to his. In the words of John, chapter 10, verse 34, he said, "Ye are gods." And in Matthew, chapter 5, verse 48, he said, "Be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect." Additionally, in John chapter 14, verse 12, Jesus stated, "You can do what I do, and more also." Jesus, the supreme medium of all time, gave us all the opportunity to help others through mediumship. The Bible, as one of the most profound teachings, guides those who wish to understand what it means to be a medium. Incarnate beings have taken on the task of interpreting the Bible and transmitting its teachings in an accessible way, aiming to benefit others and contribute to the elevation of the planet. Today, many spirits are watching events unfold, observing how well-intentioned individuals can lose faith in their own mediumistic abilities, forgetting that they are divine instruments. Those who wield these spiritual tools are often blinded by vanity and ego, seeking honor and glory for themselves. However, it is essential to understand that all honor and glory belong only to Jesus. Therefore, allow Jesus to enter your life, becoming grounded and guided by him. Let his words be the law that guides your steps. Those endowed with divine gifts must remember that they are merely channels of light and love, destined to assist in the spiritual evolution and progress of the planet towards a stage of regeneration, where the love of Christ unites all in harmonious harmony. Spiritual blindness represents a significant obstacle to the full expansion and expression of mediumship. When the ego overrides the divine will, the medium's ability to act as an instrument of light and love is seriously compromised. The medium's most sublime purpose is to serve as a channel for spiritual energy, connecting the material and spiritual planes for the benefit of all. This is the true essence of mediumship, to act as an intermediary, allowing divine energy to flow freely and unconditionally to heal, guide, and enlighten. Mediumship, when practiced with humility and love, reveals itself as a manifestation of divine grace. Those who develop and cultivate this gift are fully dedicated to serving the divine purpose, transcending their own personal needs and desires for the sake of their spiritual mission. Each human being is a divine spark, capable of radiating their light intensely, thus aligning themselves with the supreme purpose of creation. As Jesus exemplified in his earthly life, mediumship can serve as a vehicle for personal and collective transformation. However, this journey requires authentic commitment and a continuous search for spiritual evolution. It is essential to nurture qualities such as humility, discipline, and lovingness in order to maintain a solid connection with the higher planes and your mentors to channel energies in a pure and genuine way. It is important to emphasize, Jesus does not want his followers to live in misery. On the contrary, his desire is that each of his children have enough to live in a dignified manner and be able to share his message and understanding without worldly concerns. Happy and fulfilled people have the ability to spread the word in a positive way, and this is what our Father longs for. However, when mediumship is used in a selfish or harmful way towards others, regardless of personal circumstances, there is a risk of connection with lower and harmful energies. In this scenario, the person becomes an instrument guided by negative forces, transforming themselves into a tool of evil on earth. There are those who, through their actions and intentions, bring joy to the heavens, and those who feed darkness. It is essential to understand that God's instruments abstain from harmful substances, such as alcohol and drugs. They value and care for their families. They reach out to help those in need, those who are hungry, cold, or seeking help. Furthermore, a true divine instrument avoids judging others, recognizing that the act of judging belongs solely to God. Jesus, our advocate, does not call us to be judges of the lives of others. The task of judging belongs only to the Father. Therefore, we must focus on our own spiritual journey, allowing Jesus to guide our actions and intentions as we seek to fulfill the true mission of mediumship, to be channels of love, compassion, and assistance for the benefit of humanity. Mediumship, when exercised with humility and love, reveals itself as a manifestation of divine grace. Those who develop it are committed to serving the purpose of the light, transcending their own needs and desires for the sake of their spiritual mission. As it is written in the second epistle of Peter, chapter 4, verse 10, each one uses whatever gift he has received to serve others, faithfully administering God's grace in its various forms. Just as Jesus exemplified, mediumship can be a vehicle for personal and collective transformation. However, this requires genuine commitment and a constant search for spiritual evolution. In Ephesians chapter 4, verse 15, we read, "But speaking the truth in love, we are to grow up in all things into Him who is the head, into Christ." It is essential to cultivate humility, discipline, and self-awareness in order to maintain a connection with the higher plane and channel energies in a pure and sincere way. As Proverbs warns us, chapter 16, verse 18, "Pride goes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall." Furthermore, mediumship should not be used for one's own benefit or to harm others. On the contrary, it is a divine gift that should be used for the collective good. As Matthew chapter 5 verse 16 tells us, "Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven." It is important to remember that judgment is not ours but God's. In Romans chapter 14 verse 4 we find, "Who are you to judge another man's servant? To his own Lord he stands or falls, and he will stand, for the Lord is able to make him stand." Therefore, when practicing mediumship, we must seek guidance from mentors, dedicating ourselves to loving and selfless service, as in Colossians chapter 3 verses 23 and 24, we are told, "And whatever you do, do it heartily as to the Lord and not to men, knowing that from the Lord you will receive the inheritance as a reward." I want the simple words contained in this letter to serve as guidance to all, for like you, I am committed to the work of Jesus. There is a strong cry among those who knew me while incarnate, wanting the Catholic Church to recognize me as a saint among men. However, such a title has no meaning for me and is not something I aspire to. I do not seek to be recognized as a saint, because everything I have accomplished was dedicated to God, and everything God has done through me, as an instrument, has occurred by His will. Therefore I am not and will never be a saint, because only Jesus is worthy of that title. Instead of seeking titles or recognition, we should direct our efforts to exalting the name of our great Master. Today, I am a spirit who lives in a sphere superior to the spiritual colonies. This condition was not achieved by my own will, nor because I sought merit. If, during my earthly existence, I had practiced good with the aim of reaching the kingdom of heaven, I would not have done it from the heart, but rather in exchange for a position closer to God. My present position is the result of the grace of Jesus, and I accept it gladly. If I have been given the role of organizing the workers of the last hour, it is because God willed it. And if I am among you today, it is also because God has determined it. I am reminded of the passage in Philippians, chapter 4, verse 13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Whether incarnate or discarnate, we all depend on divine mercy and love to exist. This reality accompanies us until the end of time, and thus we confirm our commitment to serve and honor God's name. Existence is a testimony to God's goodness, and we must express our gratitude through loving and compassionate actions, inspired by the supreme example of Jesus. Our spiritual journey is marked by the constant search for elevation and spiritual growth. We must remember the words of Jesus in Matthew, chapter 6, verse 33. But seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. The priority is to direct our hearts toward the development of our spirit and a deep connection with Jesus. Just as Jesus' disciples were called to spread his message of love and salvation, we too have a responsibility to share the light and truth we find on the spiritual path. In Matthew chapter 5, verses 14 and 16, Jesus exhorts us, "You are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hidden, nor do people light a lamp and put it under a basket, but on a lampstand, and it gives light to all in the house. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works, and glorify your Father in heaven." May our journey continue to be guided by our Father's will, seeking inner transformation and the spread of love and truth. May we, as servants of God, find strength in the words of Philippians, chapter 4, verse 7. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. I hope my words can inspire everyone to serve with dedication and love, to recognize God's sovereignty, and to constantly seek evolution. May we live according to the teachings of Jesus, expressing his love and grace in all our actions. May each step on our spiritual journey lead us closer to our Father, and may we be instruments of his loving will here and on earth. Peace and good to all. Father Rodolfo Komorek,